around you, everything changes. Everything on this earth is in a continuous state of evolving, refining, improving, adapting, enhancing, and changing. You are not put on this earth to remain stagnant. Steve Marboli. Like Mr. Marboli says, everything is constantly evolving, even the smallest things like dribbling a basketball. Today, I will give you a history lesson about dribbling and how it has evolved throughout time. First, we will talk about dribbling during the 50s and 60s. Then, we will talk about how the players that changed the game and how they changed the game. Then we will talk about the impact those players had on the modern NBA. I chose this topic for my demonstration because I have played basketball for as long as I can remember. And over the past few years, I have started to learn a lot about the history of the game. First, during the 1950s and 60s, NBA players used to dribble with their palms facing the ground. Dribbling like this limits the control the players had over the ball, which caused them to rely on simpler moves. During this time period, even the best dribblers in the league, like six-time champion Bob Cousy, who was dubbed the Houdini of the hardwood because of his electrifying play style, mainly relied on their right hand for dribbling, or their dominant hand, and did simple moves like spin moves and stutter steps. The first player who truly started to change the way players dribble was Pete Maravich, also known as Pistol Pete. Pete Maravich popularized moves like the behind the back, the between the legs, and the in and out. Before him, moves like this were only seen in like Harlem Globetrotter events. The next player to change the way players dribble was Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway took the moves of players before him like Pete Maravich and chained them together. An example of this is his go-to move, where he would throw the ball between his legs and step one way and then cross the other. He used this move to freeze the defenders and blow by them. Last but not least, Allen Iverson. Iverson is known for his shifty moves and killer crossover. When Iverson dribbled, much like Hardaway, he would chain his moves together. But what set him apart from everyone else is his crossover. When he crossed the ball over, he would turn his hand up facing the ball and rest the ball on top of it, and then step and then cross the ball over. Today, the best dribblers in the world were heavily impacted or like influenced by players like Allen Iverson, Tim Hardaway, and Pete Maravich. An example of this is how how Stephen Curry uses Pete Maravich behind the back move and in and out to create space for his shot, and how Kyrie Irving breaks down the defenders like Tim Hardaway and Allen Iverson used to create his shot. Today, players still find new ways to use their handles to score the basketball. A perfect example of this is James Harden, and how he took the step back that had been used since pretty much the beginning of basketball and changed it into something that no one has ever seen before. In conclusion, everything is constantly evolving, even something that seems as small and meaningless as dribbling a basketball. During this speech, we went over how players dribbled during the 50s and 60s. Then we went over the players that changed how players dribble and how players will continue to dribble for the rest of the time. Finally, we went over how today's players will continue to change the way players dribble and how they were impacted by the players before them. That's it.
All right.